So my next client project is the installation of this CCTV camera, IP camera, call it what you will, and it's a nice, neat wireless design and contains a micro SD card, all that sort of goodness. But somehow or other we've got to wire it in, and we've got all this cabling to accommodate, so that's not going to be very neat. We can't really put that outside. Essentially we only need power, so we have a power connector. This is just a reset button, which hopefully you'd only need in an emergency, and obviously you could cable the camera via Ethernet. So the best idea, I thought, was to use one of these adapters that we can just put the Ethernet and the power into, like so, and then the only cable that we need to join this to the inside for power is one single conventional Ethernet cable, of which I have sufficient. So then the idea will be to put this in a box. So we should have enough space here to be able to put all the cabling inside that, and then put that up on in a suitable location with the camera on top of it. It's going to need drilling a hole to put this connector through. So we're going to need quite a sizable hole in the top of the box, and I'd like to do something reasonably neat. So fortunately, just today from Banggood arrived a kit of circular saw hole makers. So it'll be an opportunity for me to try this out and show you guys how that works. So I guess the first thing to do is to determine which size. Now the biggest item is this Ethernet connector. So we need to find a suitable size for that. That guy's going to be too small. And so is that. This one, a bit like the Three Bears and the porridge, whatever, is just right. So we're going to have to use this guy to drill the hole. Now to do that, we attach this hole saw to this mandrel, and let's have a look how we do that. This part unscrews, and we have our sort of pilot drill there. So obviously that's shaped to go over that. So that's pretty neat. And then we just screw that down the outside. And that will self-tighten in the chuck anyway. So having assembled that, we'll put that into the drill press and see how we get on. So here I've marked the centre out, and just for a bit of additional safety, I've decided to clamp the top down. It's only thin plastic, so even if it does grab when the hole saw starts to bite, it wouldn't be a problem. More of a problem with sheet metal, but better to be on the safe side. Okay, so that looks like a reasonably neat finish. We'll get that out and take a look. So here's the finished result. I've just cleaned up the edges a little with a utility knife, but that's a neat result. It's only for passing cables through, but yeah, very happy with the kit of Holesaws. There's a good selection of sizes in there, and I'm sure that will come in very useful for many other projects. So I've mounted the camera now onto the top of the housing. The next challenge is we're going to need to pass an Ethernet cable inside the unit to mate up with the connection here. So that involves drilling another hole, which is going to be on the smaller type. Now you do get two mandrels, I guess they're called. This one we used for the larger hole saw, and this guy is for the smaller one. So we just need to swap the drill bit over between the two. So we have a handily provided Allen key. That should just go into there. So remove the drill bit, and it's got a little chamfer on there to locate the set screw onto. Let's just open that up a tad. Just firm that up, and we can remove this and put on our hole saw of choice. It just mates up with the edge of the unit there, slides over. Again, it'll self-tighten, and we're not doing anything that's going to be particularly tough, so that's good enough for this particular job. Obviously you could put a spanner on there or put in a vise and put an Allen key or something in there to tighten that should you need to. So now we have a nice neat hole to pass our Ethernet cable through. I mean, obviously there are these knockouts here, but that would have been much larger than needed in this instance, and try and just pass the Ethernet cable through there and then put a rubber grommet around it to try and keep the weather out.